Have you ever thought about the power of social media? Social media has the power to make your business grow. Grow! Yeah! Why don't you let us manage your social media? Because our business is to see your business grow. Visit us at www.bstylmedia.co.za.
We lost out on $2 billion of investment. I think that could have been the biggest investment in South Africa.
Growth has been prevented by corruption. So, and basically a lot of people in government who are supposed to do their jobs that haven't been doing what they're supposed to do. Yes, we're dealing with the corruption through the Zondo Commission, but actually that's not the commission to deal with corruption because we have the criminal justice system to deal with that. The other thing is that a lot of the ministers who are underperformers are still there, and we thought that maybe by now they'd be gone. Indication of a shrunk government would have been articulated to us, so we would have known exactly which department is disappearing, and so that the inefficiencies of the past are dealt with. We're still not sure about that. Policies are being changed so quickly. So the land redistribution one, where we started off where the president himself said there's no need to actually amend the constitution because the constitution allows for expropriation without compensation, and suddenly he then makes a speech to the country to say actually we're considering amending the constitution. And so those policy uncertainties are things that I guess we're now thinking, oh, we started off well, but things are not as well as we expected them to be.
SAIBPP has a view on the land issue, and what the city's network is going to be addressing is the spatial transformation, which is something that I am privy to the DHS and how they are working on that and making sure that there will be emphasis on spatial transformation over and above everything else that they do with their developments, which talks to inclusionary living and making sure that they bring people closer to opportunities and access thereto. But I think from Craig and what he said and indicated earlier, people actually really want access to opportunities, and that's what you will achieve by having spatial transformation. When people like CISA speak about ownership by way of a title, that also makes access to finance possible. So I think at the end of the day, the land issue is becoming more and more emotive because more and more of our people are lacking access to financial facilities, access to job opportunities, access to everything that they deem necessary to make them economically viable. I think it is an issue that we have to take seriously and consciously and constantly become aware and conscious of how we create inclusive economies.
The new normal and the theme of the new normal really speaks to where the industry is going. We obviously have had a number of policy changes from transformation policies coming from national government. We've also had, we know about the current discussions around land expropriation, and really we are looking at the industry holistically, both from a technology perspective, politically, economically, funding. There are new funding and financing models that are available now that weren't there 10 years ago or 20 years ago. And of course, there is a new wave of black entrepreneurs that are entering the property space and that are about to redefine what the property industry and property development looks like going forward. So the objective of today is to, get some insight from industry leaders, both from the private and the public sector, to get an understanding of where is the industry going, what is going to be the new normal in the industry going forward. And I believe that the people that are in attendance here are a really good representation of what that's going to look like going forward.
What makes actually the new normal for us is actually that how do we create this inclusive growth? And inclusive growth means how do we create an opportunity and a possibility of everybody to participate equally in the mainstream of the economy, not in the periphery but in the mainstream. And really it's creating those opportunities and those abilities. And how do we do it at the Property Sector Charter? We really do that by really creating a legislation that becomes enabling, which is actually targets that everybody else must meet. So yes, and indeed, as the debate goes on, and one of the big news last night was also about the DA criticizing what the broad-based economic empowerment has done and the issues about it in particular. And the point is, indeed, it may not have been as successful as it should have been, and the pace is rather slow. But the question is also, without it, where would we have been?
Like these, go to www.social-tv.co.za.